An American star, John Travolta, has been a big deal in Hollywood for decades as an actor, director, and singer. In the 1970s, his big break came when he played Vinnie Barbarino on the TV series Welcome Back, Kotter. Because he was so charismatic and talented, he quickly jumped to movies, where parts in Saturday Night Fever, 1977, and Grease, 1978, made him a cultural star. These shows cemented his reputation as a leading man and showed his incredible dancing and singing skills. After having a rough patch in the 1980s, Travolta returned triumphantly with his Oscar-nominated performance as Vincent Vega in Quentin Tarantino's Pulp Fiction, 1994. He became a different person through this change, which led to a string of hits like Get Shorty, 1995, Face Off, 1997, and Hairspray, 2007, in which he played a wide range of complex roles. Travolta does more than act. He is also a certified pilot and a well-known humanitarian. Because he has been in the entertainment business for so long, he is a famous and respected person in pop culture. His journey. For more than 50 years, John Travolta has been associated with Hollywood royalty. His work has had both fantastic highs and challenging lows. He has given landmark performances that have earned him 2 Academy Award nods and will not be forgotten. One is his role as Vincent Vega in Pulp Fiction, which everyone will remember. After this part, his career took off again, and the Los Angeles Film Critics Association praised it. It was also nominated for BAFTA and Golden Globe Awards. With this act, Travolta became a major movie star, which showed that he could change himself and fascinate audiences of all ages. That being said, popularity only makes things more difficult. Behind the awards, chart-topping hits, and memorable acts is a complex person whose personal life has often been just as interesting as his acting. Travolta's work has been full of ups and downs, from his rise to fame in the 1970s with Saturday Night Fever and Grease, to the downs and ups of his popularity. Travolta is still mysterious, whether because of his work with charities, his love of flying, or his ability to stay relevant in a constantly changing industry. We'll find out the truths behind the star power and shine a light on a life that is just as exciting as his work. Birth and early life. He was born on February 18, 1954 in Englewood, New Jersey, a lively neighborhood across the Hudson River in New York City. John Joseph Travolta was the youngest of 6 children. He grew up in a home full of imagination, energy, and a love for the arts. Salvatore Sam Travolta, his father, used to play semi-professional football, but then quit and started selling tires, which was a very different job from the glamour of show business. However, Helen Cecilia Burke, his mother, was the artistic heart of the family. Helen was a great actor and singer, and later became a high school theater teacher. She helped her students improve their skills and made her kids love performing. Helen had a significant impact on people. She got John and his brothers interested in theater and stories, which made the house a creative space. The support she gave John and her love of the arts laid the groundwork for his ultimate rise to fame. As Travolta grew up in this caring but busy place, his passion for acting, dancing, and music took root. This set him on the path to becoming one of Hollywood's most enduring stars. Family background. John Travolta grew up in an Irish-majority area in Englewood, New Jersey, which is full of culture. His father was Sicilian and his mother was Irish-American. His Catholic background gave him a solid base, but when he was 21, Travolta made a significant change when he joined Scientology after a friend told him about Dianetics. This choice would have a substantial effect on both his personal and work life. Travolta did a lot of risky things to become famous. He dropped out of Dwight Morrow High School at 17 to follow his dream of becoming an actor. It was a big step for the youngest child of a tire salesman and a drama teacher. He did, however, like to take risks. He crossed the Hudson River into New York City with lots of drive and natural ability. This is where his performing dreams started to take shape. He quickly got his big break when he got a part in the traveling version of Grease. Soon after, in Over Here, he made his Broadway bow, a musical with the catchy Sherman Brothers song, Dream Drummin'. Travolta's early successes showed off his apparent charm and skill and set the stage for his rapid rise in the entertainment business. Big break. Soon, the bright lights of Hollywood called to John Travolta, who moved to Los Angeles to try to make it big. His first part on TV was short, as a fall victim in the show Emergency, and you'd never know he was there. But his big break came when he was chosen as the scary bully Billy Nolan in Brian De Palma's 1976 horror classic, Carrie. The part showed that he could be both charming and terrifying on screen, which showed how versatile he would become in his work. When Travolta joined the cast of the hit show Welcome Back, Kotter, his fame started to grow. As the cocky but likable Vinnie Barbarino, he quickly became a fan favorite thanks to how naturally charming and funny he was. His sister, Ellen Travolta, played Arnold Horshack's mother on the show, which is a fun fact about his early success. By the end of the 1970s, Travolta could not be stopped. He had back-to-back number 10 on the Billboard Hot 100 with Let Her In, which went to number 10. These successes cemented his place in pop culture. Not only did his parts as Tony Manero in Saturday Night Fever and Danny Zuko in Grease make him famous, but they also dominated the box office. Travolta was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Actor for Saturday Night Fever when he was only 24. This made him one of the youngest winners in history and cemented his standing as a star for a whole generation. Support from the family. During the height of John Travolta's fame, his family stayed out in public and supported him. Helen, his mother, and Ann, his sister, played minor roles in Saturday Night Fever. Ellen, his sister, played a waitress in Grease. Travolta also contributed to the soundtrack for Grease, which showed off his musical skills and added to his image as a triple threat who can act, sing, and dance. However, only some projects were a huge success. Moment by Moment, 1978, in which Travolta co-starred with Lily Tomlin in a love drama, did not do well with critics or viewers. It was one of the few mistakes in Travolta's otherwise impressive career rise. He wasn't discouraged, though. He hit it big again in 1980 with Urban Cowboy, a romance story set against country music's rising popularity in the United States. Travolta's performance as Bud Davis, which he shared with Deborah Winger, struck a chord with viewers and helped start a cultural movement. Urban Cowboy brought back the fame of Western dress and country music and made Travolta a star again. His sticking power in Hollywood wasn't just a fluke. He could connect with viewers and tap into the cultural mood even when things were going badly. Rough patch. After Urban Cowboy did well, John Travolta's career worsened. In Brian De Palma's movie Blowout, his next significant role, he gave one of his most gripping performances. The film had good reviews, but people didn't like the sad finish, so it didn't do well at the box office. A string of business and critical failures marked a tough time. People didn't like the movies like Two of a Kind and Perfect. Even the follow-up Saturday Night Fever, Stayin' Alive, had trouble. Even though Travolta trained hard and changed his body, the movie made money, but it could have done more to make him a leading man again. Travolta turned down several significant parts that became massive hits during this time. People thought that his career had lost steam because of the missed chances. Pulp Fiction. Then, in 1989, he became famous again after a surprise hit. The sweet comedy Look Who's Talking stars Kirstie Alley and became a worldwide hit, making almost $300 million. It brought back memories of Travolta's evident charm and ability to connect with people. Things began to change in 1994 when Quentin Tarantino cast Travolta as Vincent Vega in Pulp Fiction. He was nominated for an Academy Award for the part, which boosted his career and made him one of Hollywood's most diverse stars again. It also led to new chances, and Travolta was able to show off his range in several great acts. Brought his wit and charisma. Travolta's choices after Pulp Fiction showed he could change himself. It was his wit and charm that made Get Shorty great. Broken Arrow was intense, and Phenomenon had heart. His role as an angel in Michael and his powerful performance opposite Nicolas Cage in Face Off made his comeback even more vital. By the late 1990s, Travolta had become a Hollywood superstar again, thanks to hits like Primary Colors and The General's Daughter. He had proven that even the worst failures in his career couldn't stop him. Battlefield Earth. John Travolta gave Battlefield Earth his all in 2000. It was a project he had been deeply interested in since the early 1980s. The movie was based on L. Travolta's role as the scary alien Turl in Ron Hubbard's science fiction book. Turl was in charge of a race that had captured humans. Even though he was excited about it, the movie became a cultural joke that crowds and critics both hated. The movie did not do well at the box office, but Travolta won one Razzie Award for his role. His failure didn't define him. Even though it hurt his image, Travolta didn't let it stop him from making more movies. He stayed busy in the 2000s and showed that he could do a lot of different kinds of music. He was a cool cyber terrorist in Swordfish, a protective dad in Domestic Disturbance, and even the voice of a dog hero in Disney's Bolt. Travolta wasn't afraid to try new things. He was in the funny biker movie Wild Hogs and the touching fireman drama Ladder 49. But he made the most noise in 2007 when he did something unusual. He wore a wig and a dress to play Edna Turnblad in Hairspray. He did great in his return to shows, and it brought back the charm that made him a star. Reinventing roles. During the 2010s, Travolta changed direction and played vital parts in action movies like From Paris with Love and Savages. Then in 2016, he showed everyone how great he was as a lead actor in American Crime Story, The People vs. O.J. Simpson. Critics praised his performance, and he was nominated for an Emmy. This shows that Travolta can change himself. Despite his success in Hollywood and job changes, Travolta's life was marked by personal tragedy that few could fully understand. Life mirroring roles. John Travolta's life seemed to be a lot like the movies that made him famous. It was full of love, success, and heartbreak. In 1976, while shooting The Boy in the Plastic Bubble, Travolta fell in love with Diana Hyland, an actor who was 18 years older than him. It wasn't just magic on screen. They did have a bond. He talked a lot about how Diana changed his life and taught him about love and how to connect with someone. Their bond was unique, making him happy in a way that not even his fast-rising job could. But life has a way of shaking even the most vital bases. Just as their relationship was getting stronger, Diana was told she had breast cancer. Tracy was always by her side, and his love for her was so strong that it was beyond his 23 years. Diana died in his arms in 1977, which was very sad. Travolta was heartbroken and had difficulty making sense of such a huge loss. Dedicated son. After only a year, there was another breakup. Helen, Travolta's mother, had been a constant source of love and support for him all his life. She was also quietly fighting breast cancer. Even though his job was busy, Travolta was there for her. He visited her daily and did everything he could to make her feel better. But even his unflinching backing couldn't change what was going to happen. Helen died 8 months later, leaving Travolta to deal with yet another terrible loss. Things did not get better for the star after that. It was just the start. After settling with his family, the star lost one of the most influential people in his life. Meeting Kelly Preston. Travolta's life changed when he met Kelly Preston on the set of The Experts in 1988. It was clear that they were meant to be together, and just a few years later, they married in a small private wedding in Paris. They then celebrated with family and friends in Florida. They made Ocala their home and had 3 kids there, Jet in 1992, Ella Blue in 2000, and Benjamin in 2010. At first, it looked like Travolta's real life was a lot like the happy endings of his movie parts. But in 2009, something terrible happened. This family's life was turned upside down when their son, Jet, who had had seizures since he was 2 years old because of Kawasaki disease, sadly died in a bathtub after a seizure. Jet was only 16 years old. It was too much for the couple to handle, and it was the start of a terrible chapter in their lives. Jet Travolta Foundation. To remember their son, Jet, Travolta and Preston started the Jet Travolta Foundation in 2010. It's important to them that the foundation helps kids with special needs. Over the years, the foundation has given money to many groups, such as the Oprah Winfrey Leadership Academy, which helps poor young women, and the Institutes for the Achievement of Human Potential, which helps kids who are having trouble developing. They also back the Simon Wiesenthal Center, an organization that fights hate and promotes respect for human rights. A heavy heart. The sadness didn't end there, though. Travolta lost another loved one too soon on July 12, 2020. His wife, Kelly Preston, died at the age of 57 after a 2-year fight with breast cancer. It was impossible to describe how painful it was to lose her, and Travolta told his friends the sad news on social media. He was very thankful for Kelly's care from the doctors and staff at MD Anderson Cancer Center and her family and friends' support while she was sick. This was the second unfortunate death of someone Travolta loved that had been caused by cancer. Years before Kelly's death, he had lost his girlfriend, Diana Hyland, to the same disease, and just 10 years before that, he and Preston had lost their son, Jet, suddenly, which must have been unbearable. With each death, Travolta's sadness got worse, but he was still determined to honor their memory. Travolta found relief in the love and support of his religion, family, and close friends, even though he was going through unbearable sadness. People who liked him came together to support him and offer their sympathy. Void in his life. Kelly's death, which happened just over a decade after their son's, left Travolta's life with a huge hole. But his family's love and strength helped him overcome the overwhelming sadness. He relied on the strength of the memories and the constant support there for him. Many people would have given up after these two tragedies, but Travolta kept going, showing a strength few could understand. Behind the dance moves, the hit songs, and the hulking persona was a man who had been through a terrible breakup but kept going. Life a roller coaster ride. When it comes to fame, John Travolta's life has been nothing but a roller coaster, with incredible highs and painful lows. Travolta has always been more than a pretty face on screen, from Saturday Night Fever in the 1970s to becoming a Hollywood star. People were amazed by his work, but were even more interested in his personal life, primarily because of stories about his sexuality. 2 cases against him in 2012, both filed by unknown men who said he sexually assaulted them, made this even worse. One of these men said that Travolta had touched him improperly and shown himself while they were getting a massage at the Beverly Hills Hotel. In the other case, he was accused of hitting a different guy in an Atlanta hotel. Legal allegations. As expected, Travolta's lawyers denied the claims, saying they were utterly false and based on nothing. They said the claims were untrue and that Travolta had never been involved in anything like that. The first case was thrown out when it was shown that Travolta had strong proof that he was in New York at the time of the supposed event. The second suit also went nowhere, but the media's interest in the case kept the stories going. Even after the cases were dropped, Travolta was still asked many questions about his personal life. When pictures of Travolta at a party in 1997 showed what looked like him cross-dressing, the debate got worse. The images of him in a black dress, high heels, and lots of makeup made people talk even more about his personal life. A blow to his reputation. Someone close to Preston said she was crushed when this part of her husband was shown to the public, but she stuck by him anyway. Travolta's team rejected the cross-dressing claims, saying the stories were completely false. Still, the pictures hurt his image for a long time, significantly since newspapers jumped at the chance to spread the stories. Travolta's life looked like it was about to fall apart in public, but the star stayed quiet for much of it. Gotterbaug's allegations. Another big blow came in 2014 when Doug Gotterbaugh, Travolta's ex-pilot, said that the two had been dating since the 1980s when Travolta was still married to Preston. Gotterbaugh said he signed a document that kept the information secret for many years. Gotterbaugh's claims were never confirmed or rejected by Travolta's team, but the idea of a secret past made people wonder even more about the actor's personal life. Even though the accusations and reports keep coming up, Travolta has always stuck to his rejections. Even though people kept asking about his personal life and sexuality, he always said he hadn't done anything wrong. Mutual respect and love. People often use the fact that he married actress Kelly Preston in 1991 as proof of his normal family life. They were married and had 3 kids together. Travolta often talked about how much they loved each other. When asked about their long-lasting marriage on Kevin Hart's talk show in 2020, Travolta said it was a relationship based on love and respect for each other. He told them they had always looked out for each other, and even though the public was always watching, they stayed close. Preston also spoke out in defense of her husband before she died, especially when the reports got too much for her to handle. When asked about the rumors, she often said that she and Travolta were just funny together. Professional life filled with challenges. But even though Travolta's personal life was often looked at closely, his work life also had problems. One of the most talked about events happened while shooting Shout in 1991, when actor Heather Graham said Travolta was sexually harassing her. She said he told her that she had to sleep with him to get a part in one of his planned movies. Travolta strongly rejected the claims, saying they were untrue and based on nothing. This was just one of many charges against Travolta over the years. Some were dropped or ignored, but they returned to haunt his career. Rumors that followed. Even so, he had a mostly successful playing career. His career took off again after parts in Pulp Fiction and Get Shorty in the late 1990s and early 2000s. Despite all the praise, stories about his personal life have stuck with him like a cloud, sometimes making his screen successes look less significant. The accusations have changed how people in the public and in Hollywood see Travolta, even if they aren't true. Even so, Travolta has been strong throughout it all. He has handled the highs and lows of his personal and business life with the same drive that made him a Hollywood star in the first place.
If you've watched the video till here, that means you've enjoyed the video. Subscribe. Don't forget to turn on the notifications bell icon